What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We are going to be back in Assetto Corsa today, and we're going to be checking out a mod I just downloaded a couple days ago. I haven't had a ton of time with this car, but the little bit I did drive it, I knew I had to do a video on it. It's an extremely fun little car. Definitely a little challenging for the kind of power it puts down to drive. It's a very short wheelbase, as you can see. Very snappy car, and being on, I believe it's vintage tires anyways. We'll double check once we go in the race. I'll go in the setup and make sure, but I'm pretty positive this is on vintage race tires. So it does get fairly slippery. It is definitely a challenge to control. And if looking at it, you weren't able to already spot the Honda badge here at the front of the car. This is the Honda S800 RSC. This is the 1968 model. I believe they stopped production in 1970. And this would be the successor to the S600. And if the S name sounds familiar with Honda, it should, because the S2000 has became like the modern day predecessor to this lineage of cars, more or less anyways. Obviously they're based on like a similar idea, but very different cars. Well, really, I guess they're not. They're both rear-wheel drive, they're both four-cylinder, they're both like coupe compact cars that could be also bought in like roadster convertible form. So really, when you think about it, Honda did stick to the lineage of this car quite a bit with the S2000, although it obviously a lot more modern packaging. Anyways guys, I don't want to waste too much of your time talking about the car. I will leave links down in the description, as long as I remember to when I write the description for the car, as well as the track we're going to be at. And speaking of that, we will be at the VIR South course for today's race. We're going to be doing 7 laps, which should put us just a little over 10 minutes total race time. As you guys can see, there is a decent little livery selection for this car. Wow, I'm really stumbling over my words today. I think I just need to slow myself down a little bit, pace myself. But yeah, as you can see, there's quite a few liveries. They're all pretty nicely done. They fit the car pretty well. I do really like the Golf one though, and I'm also a huge fan of this Tag Heuer one, however you pronounce it properly. I'm honestly not 100% sure, but we will be running with the Golf livery. One thing I did forget to mention so far though, this thing does only make 100 brake horsepower, or at least that's what it says. I do believe it, it feels like a lot more with how much grip the car has, or the lack of grip I should say, and 80 Newton meters of torque. The crazy thing is though, here in Assetto, which in real life this car could rev to like 10,000 RPM, this thing will rev to almost 11,000 RPM, and honestly it acts like it keeps wanting to go, but that's where the models are obviously limited at. As I said though, we will be doing 7 laps at VIR South. I did do a couple of just like practice laps in the car just to kind of get warmed up, because I haven't drove any at all today or played my sim. So we're just going to go ahead and jump in, get this race started. Hopefully we do okay. I'm going to do my best not to spin, but it is extremely easy here at VIR with all the elevation change in the corners just to spin this thing around. It's just a really easy car to end up facing the wrong direction in. Alright, so like I was saying, we are on vintage 60s GT tires, so we don't have the greatest grip in the world. It's honestly not bad. It just seems like you lose grip very quickly as the laps progress. Or maybe it's just like when you break traction, the tires have a really hard time getting back to the proper temp. I'm not really sure exactly what it is, but after a couple of laps, it does seem like it gets really slippery really quickly. Ooh, a little bit of lockup. This thing does have amazing brakes for what it is, but it is an extremely light car, so even half decent brakes should feel pretty good on this thing. Shouldn't really take too much to slow down. A little bit of momentum this car can actually get built up.
Good start, mate.
You gotta really be careful through there. With all the elevation changes and how the turns are cambered, it's really easy to lose the rear end of this car, and it's honestly a fairly tricky car to catch when it does start to slide out on you and not be really twitchy about the recovery, because it is such a short wheelbase. It's just really snappy when it starts to come around. I just cannot get over how amazing Crew Chief makes racing in Assetto, and just how detailed it is, especially when they actually put the detail into the track mods, and they actually have the corner names programmed in with it, so Crew Chief can use them. It's just such a cool little detail. Could have carried way more speed through there and been a little bit further out in the corner, but I don't think it really slowed us down too much. I've been trying to push the car out a little bit more in that corner each lap, but it's
really good. Come on, keep your focus.
Really hard to get out to the edge and this thing not want to break loose on you. Even the AI had quite a bit of trouble and were sliding off there in the little bit of practice I was trying to do in this thing. Oh! Really locked him up there. I was able to get back off the brake though and just kind of pump it to finish slowing us down. It's crazy that the brakes lock up as easily as they do. It's like the brakes are just way too good for how much grip the car has.
On your left, clear left. The gap ahead is now 0.3. Easy car on your left.
Oh, I think I forgot to mention it, but I did actually turn the AI's aggression up a little bit more than what I had it set at, and like narrowed the tolerance for how aggressive they can be.
Clear left.
Definitely seems to have made a difference, but it's honestly not such a good thing sometimes because they do not hesitate in some of these corners just to destroy you from behind.
The leader is just 31.0.
It's so unsettling when this thing starts to come out on you like that, because I know from experience with how many times I've tried to get this thing around different tracks since I've downloaded it. When it starts to come around, it's a 50-50 chance if you're actually going to be able to save it or not. And even if you do save it, it likes to snap back the other way all of a sudden, because it is such a twitchy short wheelbase. Hey, there we go. Managed not to lock him up that time.
Clear on the left side. Careful, car on your left.
Ooh, I pushed him out a little wide. I thought I gave him some room, but he got a little nervous apparently.
Still there. Hold your line. All clear on the left. Clear left.
Started to come around on me as the weight shifted to the outside in that corner too. I don't know how the AI can manage to just dive into that corner with the speed they do and wait till the very last second to slow down. Because for me in this car, it does not work out very well. It makes the car want to come around real quickly all of a sudden.
Tires are cold, watch out.
See, that's what I was wondering what was or if that might have been what was happening in my practice laps, because it felt like as I got a couple laps in and it got a little darker, I was really starting to lose grip. So we're definitely have to be a little more careful in these corners. I still cannot get over how this thing just revs to the moon. Does not care. A little better through there that time. I would love to get my hands on one of these and get a chance just to drive it around in stock for me, even just because of the sounds this thing would make revving out to 10,000 RPM. And with how light and small it is, it would still be just so much fun to drive in stock form. Which if you guys watch the channel as much, you know I'm just a massive fan of old touring cars anyways, but little quirky ones like this that are just really nimble, but feel like they have a lot more power than they do just because of the power to weight ratio, or like my favorite thing in the world to race. They make just a really close, fun, exciting driving.
Still there. You're clear left.
I think maybe part of my issue before back there in that downhill like S section is just that I was giving it a little too much steering input, especially with how short of a wheelbase this is, and it was just making the rear end snap around very quickly on me. Seems like being really smooth through there really was not giving me any issues. We were just sticking to this guy, but I could not get around him. on throttle as early as I could so he couldn't get the drive on us out of the corner, but it just was not quite enough. I was like on his bumper though, there's not much else I could do there. Oh! I tried to get over and around him, but I just could not get over fast enough. I knew he was going to brake too.
Hold your line. Left side.
You could see what I was saying though, is he was kind of fishtailing off into the distance there about how twitchy these cars are. And just how wild they are as they start swinging around on you. I was kind of gentlemanly about it though, and did kind of give him time to take his position back. We could have definitely taken it and just kept going, but...
Still there. Clear on the left side.
Oh. See, just that little tiny nudge was enough to send the rear end coming around on me. That's what I mean, they're not the fastest car, they don't have the most power, but they're still just incredibly exciting and fun to drive, just because it does take a lot of precision to drive them quickly and not just end up facing the wrong direction or sliding completely off the track or blowing through the corners. Oh, my horn doesn't work. I was really hoping I had a horn and we'd have like an actual like semi-accurate, really high-pitched, like subcompact Japanese car horn, but apparently they didn't put that in for this car. Another thing that makes this car kind of tricky is, since it does rev so high, when you're rolling through some of these corners, you really don't want to go to first because the car really bucks around when you downshift to first. I don't know what it is exactly, if it just like really needs you to rev the hell out of it when you downshift to first. But staying in second, you gotta kind of give it a little bit of throttle just to keep the wheels spinning so the rear doesn't try locking up on you, because I've spun quite a few times like trying to get the hang of driving this car, figuring that out too. You definitely cannot let the RPMs drop too much. And it's honestly a little tricky because this thing has such a massive rev range to keep it in that RPM band where it wants to be.
The gap in front is now 1.9. Last lap. That was 132.9.
Alright, let's see if we can at least close this gap up on him here. I don't know if we're going to get another overtake, but we are halfway up the grid, so I'm not really upset about how we finished. Especially since this is a tricky little car to drive, and I did bump the AI up just for this video, just to make it a little more interesting. I gotta say, it seems to have made a pretty big difference too on the AI. They seem to be driving much better, and they're not all bunched up how they normally get. And I haven't really had any yellow flag cautions from AI wrecking, which is really surprising in these. Like I said, they tend to struggle around some of the corners too. So you could hear the rear end wanting to come around because I was waiting a little too long to get back on throttle. I haven't actually looked to see what the diff locks are on this, but it seems like it has a pretty aggressive decel lock setup. Once again though, it could just be the fact this thing revs literally to the moon just about. So you can see even there in second, still with me just hammering the throttle on the downshift, still wanted to kind of lock up and buck around a little bit on me. With that said though, I gotta say, this car has so much character because of those just simple things like that. It definitely is a very, very good mod. They did an amazing job. Like I said, I've never had to drive one of these in particular, but I have drove some older, like, European sports cars that would have a very similar size and power to this, like a midget, something along those lines, and it feels pretty close to what those cars did, I gotta say. And even if it isn't exact to this car, it still makes for an amazingly fun mod to drive, and I really suggest if you guys haven't already tried it, go out and get it. If I'm not able to find the link, just look up Honda S800 RSC on Google. Well, Honda S800 RSC Assetto Corsa, and it should come up pretty easy. From what I saw, this was a fairly popular mod, had a decent amount of downloads, and I don't think it's relatively new, so you should be able to find it pretty easily. Anyways guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button down below, comment and subscribe. It really helps me out. Also, you can go down in the description, get some merch if you want to. I do have some JZX90 D1 spec shirts out right now. Also have some stickers, a couple different designs of stickers actually. So if you guys want to help me out that way, feel free to check down in the description for the links to that. And I'll see you guys in the next one.